Harper Wells stared at the number on her bank statement, willing it to magically increase. $347. That was all that stood between her and complete financial ruin. More importantly, it was nowhere near the $50,000 she needed for her brother Noah's experimental treatment. The treatment that could save his life. Miss Wells? Dylan Cross's voice cut through her thoughts. Are you listening? Harper looked up from her desk, finding her boss standing in the doorway of his corner office. At 34, Dylan Cross was the youngest CEO in tech, worth billions from the AI security company he'd built from nothing. He was also devastatingly handsome with dark hair, intense green eyes, and a presence that made everyone in the room pay attention. Sorry, Mr. Cross. You were saying? My office. Now. His tone was clipped, businesslike. Harper followed him into the massive space with its floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking downtown Seattle. She'd worked as Dylan's executive assistant for 8 months, long enough to know he was brilliant, demanding, and completely closed off emotionally. Sit, Dylan said, moving to the window rather than his desk. I have a proposition for you. One that's unorthodox. Harper sat, anxiety twisting her stomach. Okay. There's a gala tomorrow night. Major investors, board members, press. My mother has decided it's the perfect opportunity to parade every eligible woman in Seattle in front of me. He turned, his jaw tight. I need them to back off. I don't understand. I need a girlfriend. Or rather, I need someone to pretend to be my girlfriend for one evening. Dylan's eyes met hers. I'm offering you $25,000 to be my date tomorrow night. Harper's breath caught. $25,000. That was half of what she needed for Noah. Why me? She managed to ask. Because you're intelligent, professional, and I trust you not to get the wrong idea about what this is. Dylan pulled out a contract. One evening. You'll be my date, act appropriately affectionate, and help me convince everyone I'm unavailable. Afterward, we never mention it again. This is insane. It's business. Dylan's expression was unreadable. You need money. I've seen the medical bills you've been researching during your lunch breaks. Your brother's treatment. This solves your problem, and you solve mine. Harper felt heat flood her face. He'd noticed. Of course he had. Dylan noticed everything. $25,000, she said slowly. For one night of pretending to be your girlfriend. Plus a wardrobe budget. $3,000 to get whatever you need for the event. He slid the contract across his desk. This is a business arrangement, Harper. Nothing more. She should say no. Should maintain professional boundaries. But she thought about Noah in the hospital, about the experimental treatment that was his only hope, about the desperate phone calls with his doctors. I have conditions, Harper heard herself say. Dylan's eyebrows rose slightly. Name them. First, this ends after tomorrow night. No matter what, we go back to being boss and assistant on Monday. Agreed. Second, you brief me completely on your family, friends, anyone who'll be there. I need to be convincing. I'll send you a dossier. Third, we set clear physical boundaries ahead of time. What's acceptable for couple behavior and what isn't. Something flickered in Dylan's eyes. Respect, maybe. Hand-holding, my arm around you, perhaps a kiss on the cheek or forehead for appearance. Nothing more intimate unless you're comfortable. Harper signed the contract before she could change her mind. When do I shop? Today. Take the afternoon off. Use this. He handed her a black credit card. And Harper? Thank you. You're saving me from a very awkward evening with my mother's matchmaking. That evening, with shopping bags full of designer clothes she'd never imagined owning, Harper stood in her tiny apartment and wondered what she'd just agreed to. The next night, Dylan picked her up in his Tesla, looking impossibly handsome in a tailored tuxedo. When he saw Harper in the midnight blue gown she'd chosen, elegant, sophisticated, showing just enough skin to be interesting, his eyes darkened with something that looked like desire. "You look stunning," he said, his voice rough. "Thank you. You look quite handsome yourself." The drive to the gala was charged with tension. Dylan briefed her on key people to remember, but Harper found herself distracted by his profile, the way his hands gripped the steering wheel, the subtle scent of his cologne. The Grand Fairmont Hotel ballroom was breathtaking. Crystal chandeliers, live orchestra, hundreds of people in formal wear. Dylan's hand settled on the small of Harper's back as they entered, and the touch sent electricity through her entire body. "Remember," he murmured near her ear, "we're madly in love. Make it believable." What followed was the strangest, most thrilling evening of Harper's life. Dylan introduced her to investors and board members, his arm always around her, his attention focused on her in a way that felt shockingly real. When his mother cornered them, an elegant woman dripping with diamonds, Dylan pulled Harper closer. "Mother, this is Harper Wells. My girlfriend. Your assistant?" His mother's eyebrows rose. "How unexpected." "Harper is much more than my assistant," Dylan said, and the way he looked at Harper made her knees weak. "She's brilliant, kind, and makes me happier than I've been in years." The lie sounded so much like truth that Harper almost believed it herself. They danced, Dylan holding her close, their bodies moving together perfectly. His hand splayed across her lower back, pulling her against him, and Harper felt heat pooling low in her stomach. "You're good at this," Dylan murmured against her hair. "The pretending." "So are you," Harper whispered back. Except it didn't feel like pretending. Not when he looked at her like she was the only person in the room. Not when his touch made her skin burn. Around 11, they stepped onto a private balcony for air. The city lights sparkled below, and the music from the ballroom drifted out to them. "Thank you for tonight," Dylan said, leaning against the railing. "You've been perfect. My mother actually looked disappointed that she can't set me up anymore." "Happy to help." Harper moved beside him, close enough that their shoulders brushed. "Harper, I should tell you something." But whatever Dylan was going to say was interrupted by his mother appearing in the doorway. "Dylan, darling, the photographer wants a picture of you too. For the society pages." They posed for photos, Dylan's arm around Harper, both of them smiling. And when the photographer asked for something more intimate, Dylan turned Harper to face him, his hands cupping her face gently. "May I?" he asked quietly, his eyes searching hers. Harper nodded, unable to speak. The kiss was supposed to be for show. A quick press of lips for the camera. Instead, it was deep and claiming and absolutely real. Dylan's hand slid into her hair, tilting her head to deepen the kiss, and Harper melted against him, forgetting everything except the taste of him, the feel of his body against hers, the way he kissed her like she was precious. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, the photographer was gone. So was Dylan's mother. They were alone on the balcony, staring at each other with desire and confusion warring in their expressions. "That wasn't," Harper started. "For show," Dylan finished. "I know. We should go back inside." "We should." Neither of them moved. "Harper, I need to tell you something. Something that might change." "Dylan." A voice called from inside. "The board chair needs to speak with you." The moment shattered. Dylan stepped back, running his hand through his hair. "I should deal with that." "Of course." They went back inside, but everything had changed. The carefully maintained boundaries had been obliterated by one kiss that felt nothing like pretending. When Dylan drove Harper home at the end of the night, he walked her to her door. "Thank you again," he said, standing too close, his eyes dark with something that looked like longing. "The money will be in your account Monday morning." Dylan, about that kiss. "Was a mistake," he said firmly, though pain flashed across his features. We both got caught up in the moment. It won't happen again. Harper nodded, even though her heart was breaking. Right. Just pretend. She went inside, leaning against the closed door, touching her lips where Dylan had kissed her. It was over. One night of pretending, just like they'd agreed. Except 6 weeks later, Harper would discover that one night of pretending had created something very real, and the aftermath would turn both their worlds completely upside down. 6 weeks after the gala, Harper sat in her tiny bathroom staring at 3 positive pregnancy tests lined up on the counter. Her hands shook as reality crashed down on her. She was pregnant. With Dylan Cross's baby. From one night that was supposed to be pretend, except the kiss on the balcony had led to more. After Dylan walked her to her door, she'd invited him in for coffee, just coffee. But the tension between them had been unbearable, and one touch had ignited everything they'd been holding back. They'd spent the night together, passionate and desperate, finally giving in to the chemistry that had been building for months. In the morning, Dylan had left before sunrise, and on Monday, they'd both pretended nothing happened. Back to boss and assistant. Back to professional distance, until now. Harper called Dylan's private number with trembling fingers. "We need to talk. In person. Tonight." "Harper? Is something wrong? I'll come to your house after work. Please." That evening, Harper stood in Dylan's penthouse, all glass and steel and modern luxury, trying to find the words. "I'm pregnant," she finally said. "It's yours." From the night of the gala. Dylan went completely still. Then he moved to the bar, pouring himself a drink with shaking hands. "Are you sure? 3 tests. All positive." "Dylan, I didn't plan this. I was on birth control, but sometimes, I know." He downed the whiskey in one gulp. "Harper, sit down. There's something I need to tell you. Something I should have told you 6 weeks ago." Harper sat, dread pooling in her stomach. "The reason I needed a fake girlfriend wasn't just about my mother's matchmaking." Dylan sat across from her, his face drawn. "I have a daughter. Luna. She's 7 years old." "You have a daughter?" Harper felt blindsided. "How did I not know this?" "Because I've kept her existence secret her entire life." He pulled out his phone, showing Harper a photo. A beautiful little girl with Dylan's green eyes smiled at the camera, but her skin was a soft purple that shimmered. "Her mother wasn't human," Dylan said quietly. "She was an alien scientist studying Earth's technology. We had a brief relationship. When she got pregnant, she told me the truth about what she was. She died in childbirth from biological complications." Harper stared at the photo, mind reeling. "Luna's skin color makes hiding impossible, so I've kept her in a secure facility with round-the-clock care. She's never been to school, never played with other children." Dylan's voice cracked. "And my ex-partner Catherine knows about her. She's been blackmailing me for 2 years, threatening to expose Luna to the media unless I pay her millions. That's why you needed the fake girlfriend. To show you were unavailable so Catherine would back off." "Yes. But it didn't work. Catherine's demands have only increased." He looked at Harper with desperate eyes. "And now you're pregnant with my child. Catherine will use this against us, against you. What do I do?" Harper whispered. "Marry me." Harper's head snapped up. "What? Marry me. Give our child legitimacy and protection. I'll provide everything, medical care, security, a home. You and the baby will want for nothing." "Dylan, that's insane, it's practical." His voice was firm, businesslike, the CEO making a deal. "You need financial security. I need someone I trust to help protect my family. It makes sense. You're talking about marriage like it's a business merger. Isn't that what our arrangement has always been? Business?" But something in his eyes suggested otherwise. Harper thought about Noah's medical bills, about carrying a baby alone, about Dylan's desperate need to protect Luna. If I agree, I want to meet Luna first. Tomorrow. The next day, Dylan brought Harper to a beautiful estate outside the city. Through secured gates and careful protocols, they entered a wing designed for a child, bright, cheerful, filled with books and toys. Luna sat reading, and when she saw Harper, her purple eyes widened. Father? Who is this? Luna, this is Harper. She's going to be part of our family. Over the next hour, Harper talked with Luna, who was brilliant and articulate and heartbreakingly lonely. The girl spoke about wanting friends, about dreaming of going to school, about loving her father but missing having a mother. Will you stay? Luna asked Harper directly. Everyone else leaves when they see me. I'll stay, Harper promised, her heart breaking for this isolated child. But their happiness was short-lived. Catherine's latest message was explicit: press conference scheduled for next week. I'll tell the world everything about Luna, about Harper's convenient pregnancy, about how Dylan Cross manipulates vulnerable women. Unless you transfer $15 million by Friday. Dylan's lawyers advised paying. It's cheaper than the alternative, and it protects your family. But Harper refused. We're not giving her another cent. We're going public ourselves. The risk to Luna is less than living under Catherine's control forever. Harper took his hands. Dylan, Luna deserves to live freely. She deserves to go to school, make friends, experience life. We can't keep her locked away forever to appease a blackmailer. That night, Dylan sat with Luna, explaining gently that some things might change. That people might learn about her being different, but that it didn't make her less precious. Will people be afraid of me? Luna asked, her purple skin seeming to dim with worry. Some might be, Dylan admitted. But others will see how special you are. How brilliant and kind. And Harper and I will protect you no matter what. Luna looked at Harper. You'll really stay? Even when it gets hard? Always, Harper promised, pulling the girl into her arms. You're my daughter now. Nothing changes that. They prepared for the press conference, working with PR specialists and legal teams. But the night before they were scheduled to go public, Harper couldn't sleep. At midnight, she found Dylan in his office, reviewing statements. I can't do this to you, Harper said from the doorway. Once this is public, your life changes forever. Luna's life changes. Maybe I should just leave, let you and Catherine work something out without me complicating things. Dylan stood so quickly his chair rolled back. You're not leaving. Not now, not ever. But Dylan, do you remember what I said to you 6 weeks ago? That I loved you? That changed nothing. He crossed to her, cupping her face. Harper, you walked into my life pretending to be my girlfriend for one night. But you became my wife, Luna's mother, the love of my life. You think I'd let you go? I'm scared, Harper whispered. Scared of what happens tomorrow. Scared of Catherine destroying us. Then let's be scared together. Dylan pulled her close, one hand on her pregnant belly. Our daughter is going to be born into a family that loves her. A family that includes her sister Luna. Whatever Catherine throws at us, we face it united. Harper looked up at him, seeing the vulnerability beneath his strength. Make love to me, she whispered. Remind me why we're fighting. What followed was tender and desperate, Dylan laying her on the couch in his office, making love to her with a gentleness that brought tears to her eyes. I love you, he whispered against her skin. You and Luna and this baby. You're my whole world. I love you too, Harper breathed. I'm done running. Done being afraid. Tomorrow we tell the truth. All of it. Afterward, wrapped in his arms, Harper felt a sense of peace. Whatever happened, they'd face it together. That evening, Harper agreed to Dylan's proposal. They married in a quiet civil ceremony with only Dylan's lawyer as witness, a practical arrangement for practical reasons. Harper moved into Dylan's penthouse, taking a guest room while Dylan kept his master suite. Separate spaces. Clear boundaries, except nothing about living with Dylan felt practical. Not when he made her breakfast, remembering how she liked her coffee. Not when he asked about her day with genuine interest. Not when she caught him watching her with something that looked like longing, and not when she spent every day with Luna, reading together, teaching her to paint, becoming the mother figure the girl desperately needed. "You're falling for them," Harper's best friend Jenna observed when they met for lunch. "For both of them." "It's an arrangement," Harper protested. Dylan made that clear. "Does he know you're in love with him?" Harper's silence was answer enough. 3 months into their practical marriage, Harper was 5 months pregnant and deeply, irrevocably in love with Dylan. It happened gradually. The way he touched her growing belly with reverent gentleness. The way he read to Luna every night, his deep voice making even children's books sound magical. The way he looked at Harper when he thought she wasn't watching, like she was something precious and unattainable. One night, Harper found Dylan in his home office at midnight, staring at financial reports with exhausted eyes. "You should sleep," she said from the doorway. "Catherine's demands have increased. She wants $10 million now, or she exposes Luna to every media outlet in the country." Harper moved into the room, standing behind his chair. Without thinking, she began massaging his tense shoulders. Dylan groaned, leaning into her touch. "We could go public first," Harper suggested. "Control the narrative before Catherine can. And put Luna through that scrutiny. You've seen how happy she is now that you're here. I can't risk her happiness." "Dylan." Harper's hands stilled. "What Catherine's doing is illegal. Blackmail, extortion, with my resources and connections, proving it would be difficult. And the damage to Luna would be done regardless." He reached up, covering Harper's hands with his. "Thank you. For being here. For loving Luna like she's yours." "She feels like mine," Harper admitted. "You both do." Dylan pulled her around the chair, guiding her onto his lap despite her pregnant belly. The position was intimate, his arms around her, their faces close. "Harper, this started as an arrangement." But somewhere along the way, his phone buzzed. Catherine's name flashed on the screen with a text, "Congratulations on the pregnancy. Does your wife know she's just your latest charity case? I'll be in touch about adjusted payment terms." Dylan's face went dark with fury. "She knows you're pregnant. She's going to destroy you to get to me." "Let her try," Harper said with more courage than she felt, but Catherine's campaign began immediately. Anonymous posts appeared online suggesting Harper had trapped Dylan with a pregnancy to access his wealth. Photos from the gala, before anyone knew about Luna, were leaked with captions implying Harper was a gold digger who'd seduced her boss. Harper's phone exploded with messages from old friends, acquaintances, even strangers, asking if the rumors were true. She stopped checking social media, but the damage was done. "I should leave," Harper told Dylan one night, tears streaming down her face. "Let you divorce me quietly. Say the marriage was a mistake. Maybe Catherine will back off if I'm gone." "No." Dylan pulled her against his chest. "Harper, you're not going anywhere. You're my wife. The mother of my child. Luna's mother in every way that matters. But Catherine can go to hell." Dylan tilted Harper's face up, his green eyes intense. "I married you for practical reasons. But Harper, I've fallen in love with you. Completely. Irrevocably. The way you love Luna, the way you light up a room, the way you challenge me to be better, I love all of it. I love you." Harper's breath caught. "You love me? I've been in love with you since that kiss on the balcony. Maybe before. I've been too afraid to admit it because I thought you'd leave once you realized how complicated my life is. I'm not leaving," Harper whispered. Because I love you too. I've been in love with you for months, thinking this marriage was just practical while dying inside because I wanted it to be real. Dylan kissed her then, tender and claiming and full of months of suppressed longing. When he lifted her, carrying her to his bedroom, Harper didn't protest. They made love slowly, carefully because of her pregnancy, Dylan worshipping her changing body with reverent touches and whispered declarations of love. You're beautiful, he murmured, his hand splayed across her belly. Carrying our child. Living in my home. Loving my daughter. You're everything I never knew I needed. I love you, Harper said. The press conference was held at Dylan's company headquarters. Hundreds of journalists packed the room. Dylan stood at the podium with Harper beside him, visibly pregnant, and Luna on his other side, her purple skin covered by nothing but a simple dress. My name is Dylan Cross, he began. And I have 2 daughters. He told Luna's story, her alien mother, the biological complications, the years of hiding. He explained Harper's pregnancy, their marriage, the love that had grown between them. Catherine Morrison, my former business partner, has been blackmailing me for 2 years, threatening to expose Luna unless I paid millions. She threatened to destroy Harper's reputation when we refused to pay more. Today, I'm taking that power away. He displayed evidence, texts, emails, financial records documenting Catherine's extortion. My daughters deserve to live freely. Luna deserves to go to school, to have friends, to experience childhood without fear. And my unborn daughter deserves to grow up in a world that celebrates difference rather than exploiting it. Harper stepped forward. I married Dylan knowing about Luna. I fell in love with him and with his daughter. This family is real, built on love, not convenience. Whatever anyone thinks about how we started, what we have now is authentic. The questions came rapidly, but the tone was surprisingly supportive. When Luna spoke, answering a question about her favorite subject, mathematics, in a clear, articulate voice, the room fell silent with respect. Catherine was arrested within hours for extortion and blackmail. The evidence was overwhelming, her threats documented. The scientific community rallied around Luna, arguing for her rights and protections. Legislation was proposed specifically for extraterrestrial human hybrids. Public support was overwhelming. But staying in Seattle became impossible. Media attention was relentless. I have a solution, Dylan said. My grandfather's estate in Oregon. 5,000 acres of forest, completely private. Luna could go to a specialized virtual school. We could have space and security. They relocated 4 months before Harper gave birth. The estate was paradise, modern comfort nestled in wilderness, room for Luna to explore freely. Harper gave birth to a healthy daughter with completely human genetics, Dylan's green eyes and Harper's dark hair. They named her Grace Luna Cross. Dylan was present for the birth, holding Harper's hand, crying when he heard his daughter's first cry. Thank you, he whispered to Harper. For everything. For loving Luna. For giving me grace. For being brave enough to fight. 1 year after the press conference, Dylan and Harper stood on their porch watching Luna teach baby Grace about flowers, the older girl's purple skin glowing in afternoon sunlight. Do you regret it? Dylan asked, pulling Harper against his chest. The fake date that turned into all this chaos? Not for a second, Harper said. You offered me $25,000 to pretend for one night. I got a husband I love, 2 daughters I adore, and a life more extraordinary than anything I imagined. I'm the one who got everything, Dylan murmured, kissing her neck. You saved Luna by giving her a mother. You saved me by teaching me how to love. You saved our family. We saved each other. They'd started with a business arrangement, 1 night of pretending for money. But pretending had turned to reality, convenience had become love, and 1 fake date had become the foundation of a real family. Harper had agreed to pretend to be Dylan's girlfriend for 1 night. The aftermath had turned her world upside down: pregnancy, marriage, blackmail, public exposure. But through all the chaos and fear and uncertainty, she'd found something real. A husband who loved her completely. A daughter with purple skin who called her mom. A baby who completed their family. The pretend date was over long ago. But the real relationship, messy, complicated, and absolutely authentic, would last forever. Sometimes the best things start with pretending. Sometimes one night changes everything. And sometimes, the aftermath that turns your world upside down is exactly what you needed all along. Harper had pretended to date the millionaire boss. But she'd ended up with so much more than money. She'd ended up with love. With family. With a life that was real in every way that mattered. And that was worth more than any amount Dylan could have paid her. The fake date was just the beginning. The real story, the one built on love and courage and choosing each other every single day, was just getting started. Retry. Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.